smuggle Bibles in, and when we got stopped at the border, I had 300 Bibles. They seized all the Bibles. We stood 15 hours in a room thinking that they were going to kill us or imprison us because they were smuggling Bibles into the country. They finally released us and let me have one Bible. And so all they gave me was one Bible for my personal use. They told us to leave the country. We came back through another gate. We went down about 300 miles and then came into another area and entered into China. When I got to the village Qingdao, where we were smuggling the Bibles, and I brought, and tears were in my eyes because I wanted to bring 300 Bibles for this city, for this whole place, and all I had was one Bible. And so when I gave it to the missionary who was there, and I said, we had 300, but they stopped us, this is all I had, and she said, you don't understand. This one, we don't, everybody in the church don't have a Bible like y'all have in America. She says, I will take this one Bible, and I will tear out each page. Yes. And I will give everybody a page. And when they memorize the page, yes, they will trade that page with someone else. So that I found out that in China, the average Christian has over 2/3 of the Bible memorized. So when you and I said, thy word have I hid in my heart, that's just a cliche. You got 5 Bibles. A Bible so big you got to open Psalms 91 at home right now. Don't read it. Just leaving it there. 3 Bibles. 1 in the car you leave. 1 in the bathroom. So if you sit down in there for a little while, you may open it up and read it. You got Bibles everywhere, and yet the Word is something that is so far from you because it is something that you live conveniently, but not desperately. It has not become sweeter. When the Jew is born, they don't have baptism, but they would dedicate the child. When they would dedicate the child, they would take the Torah scroll and take honey and put it on the Torah scroll, and they would take the Torah scroll to the baby so that the baby would lick the honey off the Torah scroll, so that when he says it's sweeter than the honey in a honeycomb, he would understand that thy word, oh God, is light. You understand that when we talk about martyria, that ministry is the secondary consequence of passionate living for God. There are people every day who tell me, God's called me. And my question to them is, what are you doing? What have you done that designates or requires anything from you? Everybody wants to get in the pulpit. And primarily when we say that God has called us, what we say is that God has called us to hear. Everybody wants to be called here. But here doesn't belong to everybody. See, I knew Pastor before he was here. When it was just youth services he was doing. And we would sit after the service and talk and laugh. And when we would go, we went on a singles cruise together, and we had a wonderful time. We were scared of the water, and in about 3 feet, he swam and stuff like that. And but we talked, and when other folks were hanging out, we were laughing and joking, but we would be in the presence of God, and we would talk about theology and books to read, and what college were we going to go to, and what were the things we were going to study, and what was passionate to us, and what was not, and what great preachers, and what were some of the things that they were saying that were touching our very souls, and where we were going. It was when by the time he told me I've started a church and it's this and that. He had already done it for 5 years before that, for 6, 7 years. He had already lived a life that without anybody having to recognize a passion. Now what? These men, Paul confirms the souls, which means he made them willing to die. See, you are not here to stick another feather in your hat. The purpose of the preaching here is not to make you just a wonderful person. It's to make you such a radical person that when people look at you, they will say, this person is truly a disciple or a martyr, one who is willing to die to their own needs and their own agendas and their own issues and their own greed. They're willing to die to the things that are important to them. There's nothing more overwhelming, I think, than when you find out that God is not impressed with you. One of the things that I found out over and over and over and over again in the presence of God, and the reason I pray is to constantly be in His presence and to constantly understand the importance of His presence, is that when I get in prayer and I begin to describe how awesome and how wonderful He is, the only place I can leave from prayer is humble and realize that whatever I'm doing, whatever I have received unworthily. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve to be there. And so the Bible says here, watch, that when they get there, they confirmed them. They made them disciples. They strengthened the souls of the disciples. They strengthened them. See, it is not enough to get saved. True leadership is not called just to get us in the kingdom. Watch. It is called to give us strength to endure in the kingdom. It's not, don't just bring me in and not connect me throughout the entire journey. Yeah. You understand? It's not enough to just get me saved. Yeah. True leadership is committed to the entire journey of salvation. Right. Hebrews says that He appeared the first time to save us and the second time to bring us to full salvation. See, I am saved from, but I'm not saved to. Are you listening to me? See, if I'm drowning in the water and all you do is throw me a life vest, you have saved me from immediate danger, but you have not saved me from imminent danger. You have saved me immediately, but if you don't get me out of the water and put me on the boat, then I will eventually die of hypothermia and still drown. See, some preachers and some folks want to hand you a tract and get you saved, but they don't want to put you on the boat and bring you to the fullness of what God has called you to be brought to. And one of the great things when you come to a church like this is that the commitment is not to numbers. It is to quality. And it's not just the people getting saved, but it's the people living a life that the folks in this city can say, you know, what church do you go to? And the moment you say, I go to Covenant, and they say, I know about that. There is something diametrically different to this house than other houses because the quality of these people. Now, if your quality, if your life does not reflect that type of discipleship, then eventually God will move you. Because quality is far more important than quantity. Watch why God killed David. Why was David not allowed to build the temple? You know why David was not allowed to build the temple? Not because he killed a man, not because he committed adultery, but the Bible says because he numbered the children of Israel. Right. Watch it. Because for him, numbers were important. And God said, you can't build my temple. Because my temple, my house, is not about numbers. It's about my presence. And if you think that all I want is numbers, David, you missed it. Anyone can draw a crowd. See? But only select men can bring the cloud.